Hey y'all, it's Mondays with Michael, and my next guest is
Robbie Conal.
So we're here with the man, the myth, the legend himself. He is he's originally a New Yorker, but he became a stone cold hippie and SF in the Haight in '63. You moved to California.
Just before we knew it was the Haight, we were there and became the Haight.
Yeah. Well, Robbie, I've met you several times. You sent me some posters down in Arizona, the Supreme Injustices, and did some wheat pasting for you down there.
Still relevant today.
Isn't it crazy?
Absolutely today.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just full circle. These
Can't go wrong with Injustice the Supremes.
Right? So yeah, no, for me, street art, I grew up on 12 Ounce Profit, right, which was an underground magazine out of the Bay Area where I found out about Mike Giant and Barry McGee Twist, and then Shepard Fairey. These were all prevalent.
I heard of them.
Yeah, you heard of them. So these were all like street artists that inspired me. And then I met you in LA through a friend, went to one of your art classes, drawing classes, pulled up.
I don't remember that at all.
It's been a long time. But anyways, you kind of, for me, it's like you're kind of the godfather of this street political poster art.
I'm actually Shepard's OG. That's old guy. I'm Shepard's old guy.
Old guy. I like to say this, OG, but you are a triple OG, which, yes, triple OG.
Very, very old.
I mean,
so true.
Yeah. But no. I mean, I think for me, your work has inspired generations. I know you're modest, but for me, I'm speaking from generalizing for me and others that know about your works. I mean,
I'm a realist, like I come from the art world and, I go like this and that's what I do. And then we long process translating that into, like digital and then into print, into, like we have these giant Heidelberg presses down at Typecraft and it goes blop, 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 and then onto the streets and stuff. And maybe I do 2 or 3 a year. And everybody you've mentioned, those guys are so prolific. Like they just keep going and going and going. They're like the Energizer Bunny, on methamphetamine or something. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, I got to get to work. Like these guys, like, leave me alone. They're fantastic. And they're fast. Yeah. And I'm slow and old. And it's just that I've been doing it a long time. So now I'm venerable, like, even though like I'm falling apart, like piece by piece, like our democracy.
Yeah.
Still, I'm still here.
Yeah.
That's what I could say. The best thing I could say about myself, I'm still here and fuck him.
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the steady, but yeah.
I mean, steady meaning you're still doing beautiful works and
beautiful.
Yeah. So let's talk about this is your latest and greatest poster.
Well, it's probably the angriest.
Yes.
And that's the problem. I mean, I've done posters of him before, and just one night, like 3 a.m, a few months ago, I woke up and said, oh no, I got to do another one. I don't want to do that. Yeah. And then, he did something else. And I said, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to get out the oil paint and fuck him up. And I really, like, this is like 10 pounds of oil paint. And I use cake icing bags.
Yep, I see it.
To do his bags. Yep. And I just like went a little crazy. And actually I had done the portrait and I had like his hair and everything, and I combed the hair with the paint with actually a comb, and I had it all done and everything. And then my friend Debbie and my friend Stephanie Allen, who's a great marketing genius, were just, brainstorming, shooting the shit. And she says, and it was like that portrait, only like he had a head of hair and everything. And it said, lame fuck, which I thought was okay.
Yeah.
It was kind of lame.
Lame.
Yeah. And it wasn't just doing it. I was angrier than that, and so she says, well, how about his relationship to Uncle Sam? Uncle Don.
Uncle Don.
And, I get to paint a hat with color. And that, I just had to get out the sander, literally, and sand off the top of his head. And Debbie said...
Oh, I could see in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And add more...
The tall hat, the top, Uncle Sam top hat.
Add more illustration board, actually. Go through a whole Megillah. Like,
oh, sweet, I see the...
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so, the evidence of process, pentamenti and all, but that'll be taken care of in the poster. But really, so when Debbie says, I say, I don't really want to, like, oh God, do I have to paint him again? She says, yeah, paint him again. Now you know how to do it. And I said, I'm not painting him again.
Yeah.
Like, fuck him. Like, so we got out the sander and just sanded off the top of his head, did all this addition, and I got to paint the hat. So that was like my little treat,
Love it. So you're going to be dropping this pretty soon here.
Yeah. Well, I think we're on a schedule, like, we'll probably print it down at Typecraft on these big Heidelbergs.
Yeah, we're going long too. We're going.
Yeah, I think we're going
long.
to. I think.
I like it.
Well, I think this is like.
Like 48.
No, it's not. It's not that big.
36.
It's like 20 by 36 or something.
Okay.
But Debbie will probably take it. She's a great graphic designer, and adjust it a little wider somehow.
Yeah.
And on the back, we're going to do J.D. Vance as Dictator Tot.
Dictator Tot.
Yeah.
And you're going to do the eyeliner he wears too as well.
Oh yeah,
Heavy eyeliner.
I mean, we've got him somewhere around here.
Yeah.
The painting's done.
Gotcha. Perfect.
So it's just waiting for its, street opening.
Yeah.
And then you have an option, like you put them next to each other, or you could put one or the other up. Actually, we did Dictator as a poster, and maybe we'll print a few more of those too. So you have the options on the street for our volunteers. Put them up any way you want. I always say that anyway, but if they have like 3 posters, or one two-sided and one extra, so they can put up Dictator and Dictator Tot,
and switch
or
it up.
they can put Uncle Don and Dictator, or Uncle Don and Dictator Tot. Give them some little fun,
So two sides, you print on 2 sides.
Yeah, 2 sides.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
Debbie says, if you're going to kill trees, you might as well optimize.
Yeah.
Because we love the trees. Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll print up a few thousand of those.
Love
and
it.
Get them around the country.
Okay.
Probably end of June.
Love it. Okay. So for people who don't, people who don't know, some people do not know who you are.
Thank God.
I gotta ask you, like, where is your humble beginnings? Who is Robbie Conal? Where did you, I know you're from New York. Where was this art idea birthed?
Which art idea?
When did you become an artist?
Oh, okay.
And then kind of tell us your history of who you are and what you do.
I'm old, right? Like, it might take a while. Well, I grew up in the upper left side of Manhattan. Both my parents were communist union organizers in the 30s and 40s, and my dad was blacklisted by the House Un-American Activities Committee. So I have this little different context growing up, and I was always an arty kid, and I was so arty. I mean, my parents, like, maybe he'll become the new Eugene V. Debs or something, but no. he plays with his crayons, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, because they were pretty hip, you know, like, and so you know how kids like after school, you go to the playground or you go to your violin lesson or you know whatever you do. My parents sent me to the major museums around New York. You know, like.
Your favorite one?
Well, I don't have a favorite one. I love them all, but the Met, the Modern, the Whitney, those were my three.
Yeah.
You know, I'd go around the Met. I was like 8, 9 years old, and my mom had worked out with the guards. You know, watch them.
Yeah.
You know, like
Watch it.
But they would send me by myself. You know, like after school, like at least three days a week, and I'd be going around. You know, like the Temple of Dendar, like the sarcophagi, the mummies. You know, like oh, this is great.
Yeah.
And at the Modern, you know, Guernica was there, so he was my buddy at the time, you know, and James Ensor, who was a great painter who hated everybody, and you know, if you go to the Getty, there's this 20-foot long painting of his, Christ's Entry into Brussels, where there are thousands of people at this annual event, and Christ is coming in from the upper right hand side. Nobody's paying attention to him. They're all fucking each other, or robbing from each other, or eating something, or they don't give a shit about him.
Complete
But
debauchery.
yeah. And but he had a painting that the Modern got in 1951. That was like death confronted by masks, and it was like one of the scariest paintings. I loved that painting. I would I was 8, 9. I'd go see how long I could stand in front of it before running away.
Yeah,
you know,
that's so cool, man.
But because of all this,
right.
I knew more art history than I knew from when I was a little kid. You know. And I was always making art. So I went to the High School of Music and Art in New York. Thank you, Fiorello LaGuardia. And then I went to Brooklyn College because there were some great abstract expressionist painters who were there and teaching. And I thought, this is going to be cool, because my heroes when I was a kid, were Franz Klein, Willem de Kooning, Arshel Gorky. But those guys were into their careers. They were already tired of teaching, and they weren't doing nothing, So I ended up going to San Francisco State and I, like 1963, landed in the Haight before it was the Haight. And that was just wild, man. That was everything that people wanted to think it was for a few years until the Summer of Love, where the thing about the Haight-Ashbury and the Love generation, all that stuff, it was a very delicate subculture. It was like driving a flower, and it couldn't withstand, it couldn't withstand the media attention. And also, like, our culture, our capitalist cultural economy is such that we want to monetize everything.
Yes.
And so there was a great monetization of the culture, the subculture of the Love generation and the Haight. It couldn't withstand that, Drugs, there were always drugs. There were good drugs, Stanley Owsley, like great LSD, psilocybin, my favorite. Really good Acapulco Gold, all this stuff. But when all this attention got into, the drugs starting to get cut with bad shit. And also, so there are always runaways, right? Like in every cult, every generation, But not all the runaways go to the same place. And that's what was happening because of the Summer of Love and all the publicity. All the runaways came to the Haight, and it couldn't sustain that, and they were in big trouble because it was overrun. So the Haight in the late 60s, early 70s died a horrible death.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
But you had 2 years of utopia.
Yeah, two
right?
and a half. Yeah.
What is it, 63 to 64 before
To 67.
the summer.
Yeah, Summer of Love. 67.
But it was like, how was that feeling?
It was great. I mean,
energy.
it was like I said, it was like everything, whoever romanticizes that, and kids do still today.
Yeah.
It was like that. It actually was.
Beautiful.
And just couldn't last.
Right.
Ask him
And also the
what was
war.
raining in that time. Did that change?
Well,
Go ahead.
the other thing that was going on is the Vietnam War.
Right.
Yes.
And because I was like politicized from my mother's breast milk, which was pink and delicious, I was, along with the hundreds of my closest friends, protesting the Vietnam War. In fact, I got kicked out of San Francisco State in '69 because me and 100 of my closest friends occupied the administration building protesting the war, and S.I. Hayakawa kicked me out of San Francisco State personally. I mean,
Wow.
he was the chancellor at the time. And I lost my draft deferment, like we all did. So then we were vulnerable to the draft. But I was making art all through that. But I wasn't making art specifically about social and political issues, because I was like all abstract expressionized, which is great. I mean, I love that work.
So you're doing more A for A instead of like social political artwork.
I don't know what A for A.
Art for art's sake.
Oh, I guess so. You could call it that.
Yeah.
It's like emotional stuff, like, however you're feeling, you go blah on the canvas, and hope that the paint is your partner and helps you, surprise you, and to express your angst or whatever it is. Doesn't have to be negative,
But hopefully it's cathartic and you.
Yeah, it's a catharsis. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, there's great art. I love that art. I went to graduate school, got my MFA at Stanford, and all through that too, I was doing. I went for a couple of artists who, like, I was a big fan of, and I knew their work better than they knew their work.
Yeah. Who
Nathan Oliveira and Frank Lebdell. And I studied with them, but when I got out, I still loved that art, but it wasn't doing it for me.
Right.
We're getting into Ronald Reagan.
Reaganomics.
Yeah. And Californians, had a preview of what it was going to be like because he was governor. So he's the guy who really did it to me, turned me over into, I'm upset. I can't take this anymore. I got to make art about these issues that I care about, that are affecting, regular people in America. And
that's when punk was born.
Yeah,
The
punk.
counterculture, skate. Like the kind of the anti-Reaganomics.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah. In fact, there's a funny story. Like, so this is a little later, but I was in LA and I was doing the posters and stuff. And I moved to LA in '84, and I started the posters in '86. Well, by the late '80s, some people knew who I was and stuff, and punk, was big. And we went to a Pearl Jam show.
Okay.
And I was at the Fabulous Forum and kind of knew Pearl Jam, and I'm walking like in the hallway, and this big woman, all in black, comes racing towards me, and I'm going, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me." And she says, "You're Robbie, right?" I said, "Yes, I am." "I'm Exene. Your work and our work is exactly the same."
Okay.
I said, I go, I didn't even know what X was.
Yeah.
I never.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Right.
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 But she was right in a way. Like, and she said, "Oh yeah, black and white and, anti-establishment, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, okay. I did use yellow, but yeah. And so I learned all about that stuff. And, Mike Watt, like, he was like,
No.
he's a great shredder. The Minutemen was the band. And these guys, I got to know them, you know. And every time we see each other, go like that.
Yeah,
And but yeah. So all that stuff was happening, this is go back to after graduate school, which was like the early '80s.
Gotcha.
And I decided I'm going to have to make representational art about these issues that I care about. I'm going to have to paint people.
Yeah.
And I swear, I spent 5 years making the most terrible art I ever made in my life, trying to get myself to move.
Yeah.
Make that move that made sense and that people could understand, and I could understand what I was doing. The person who helped me, the people who helped me the most, Leon Golub, who was like the greatest political artist of his generation, and his wife Nancy Sparrow, who was probably the greatest feminist art of her generation, were my art mom and dad. And I have hilarious stories about meeting them and them helping me and everything. But and I finally, you know, started making art with, you know, like images of Reagan, images of his cabinet, and they're little nasty black and white paintings. But by the time I met Leon and Nancy, I was trying to make really big things, and about foreign policy. And he gave me the greatest advice. You know, he said I had people, you know, naked, jumping out of the way of, you know, like explosions and stuff. I had women from Argentina, like about with their missing, disappeared children. And then I had these, like Reagan and Kissinger shaking hands or something.
Yeah.
And he said, just paint the bad guys. You know, put all of, he says, your work is very powerful. Put all that power and all that, those painterly chops that you got from abstract expressionism, put them all into the bad guys.
Okay.
He said, paint their suits as intensely as you paint their faces. And so basically he said, get rid of 3/4 of your art and keep the quarter of your art that you haven't done yet. It took me like 4 or 5 days to go, oh, okay. Never mind all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, I did this series of paintings, little black and white paintings of Ronald Reagan, his cabinet, and so forth. And I also did Nancy Reagan and women. And I had them up in an art gallery and stuff. And, you know, the only people who actually were interested in them were progressive lawyers. and I realized that, you know, I'm making art about social and political issues, that I'm trying to express myself in public about this stuff that I really care about. Showing in just a beautiful white cube is not going to do it. You know, so I knew, like, then I realized, oh my God, I know all this stuff about art history, and I know, you know, like the history of political postering and all this stuff. I can make posters. I don't know how to make a poster, but I know that that would get out in public. And so finally I took 4 of these little nasty paintings of Reagan in his cabinet, and I thought they were being very unforthcoming about what they were doing to our democracy. And they were kind of men with no lips. And they're all like, they're not telling us what they're up to. And this is getting into Iran-Contra and stuff. And so I did a pathetic little poster of the 4 of them with men with no lips. And talked my friend, this is like Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn, you know, like, you're going to love this. My best friend, come on out in the middle of the night in one of the most dangerous urban areas in the country, and we'll put up some posters, you know, like starting in Venice, and we'll go around. And you're going to love it, you know, and you're going to be really good at it. And so we did that. You know, I broke the piggy bank and got a printer to do like 1,000 of them for $600 or something.
Okay.
And we put them up, and we happened to put them up just when the new Mocha was opening.
Good timing.
Yeah, good timing. And I knew that Mocha would never let my work in there, you know. So we just surrounded Mocha at their opening with posters all around downtown. And that was a lot of fun, you know. We started in Venice, which was home turf, and then just went all around. And
but that action, you inspired some other young artists too.
Well, a lot of people saw it.
Yes.
You know, like
right.
They didn't know who did it. They didn't know why it was there, but they knew, even if they didn't know Caspar Weinberger, you know, or Donald Regan, the third, they knew Ronald Reagan.
Right.
And so they knew at least one of the guys, and you knew they're in suits, and you know that it's not really positive portrait, you know,
Right.
so like not. They knew it was negative.
Right.
So, and there was nothing on it like who did it or
no
whatnot.
name. Anonymous,
nothing.
completely.
Yeah, completely anonymous. And and the point was, I mean, I was being a little coy because I knew that if we got up enough of them, hit a threshold of distribution, that people would see them and that the press would come try to find me.
Yes.
You know, I knew that. But also, it wasn't about me, you know, and I think that was important to me, that, you know, stay on the subject, you know, like whatever people, one thing about street art and about art in general is like, you make the painting in the studio and you have a relationship with it and you think you know what it means, you know, and it's what you want to express.
Right.
But once it gets out of the studio, whether it's like in an art gallery or on the street, it has its own relationship with whoever sees it. And that's a good thing, you know. In a gallery, they could have like a martini together, you know. Somebody looking at it could sit and you know, like, here's to you, motherfucker, you know, and develop a relationship that way. On the street, it's like driving around or walking around going, what the hell is that?
Instantaneous,
Yeah. Well, but it's also like, what's that doing there? You know, like it's not an advertisement. It's not selling anything. No. You know, like it's ugly in my case. You know, like, and it says something, which is like a bad haiku or something, you know, like men with no lips, or and you know, like, but then you go to the next block and there it is again.
Right.
Or, you know, the next stop sign.
Repeat.
And in LA it's rolling stop signs because nobody actually really stops. They just, but you see it again and again and you go, wait a minute, wait a minute. Something's going on, you know, like, and also it gives you a chance to absorb it a little bit, like, okay, men with no lips, whatever the fuck that means, it's not good. And people kind of go, what the hell is going on? And that's a different kind of relationship than the relationship in an art gallery. But, and Shepard and I talk about this all the time, is like, it took a long time for street art to get accepted by the fine art establishment. And not everybody crossed over. A few artists did, you know, like he did. Banksy, of course, you know, like.
Barry McGee, too.
Yeah. Twist, like, but, you know, like, the art world, you know, don't want to have anything to do, it's way above, you know, like, until it thinks it's missing something.
Right.
Oh,
I must have that.
Yeah.
In my
maybe we can monetize this.
Yes.
You know, like, but the ironic thing is the thing that got like some street art into, you know, the high art world was fashion, the fashion industry. I love that. I just think that cracks me up. And it's because, like, okay, how do you monetize something that's on a wall?
Right.
You know, like, how do you get it off the wall and get it into a product? T-shirts, you know, and fashion. And the fashion industry is always looking for what young people are up to. You
Right.
know? That's how Madonna happened, actually. If you want to get into it, you know, like they're always trying to find a trend, like a subcultural trend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they can commodify it.
Right.
And then expend it and use it as
Right.
much as they can get out of it.
Right, and then all of a
Squeeze it.
sudden it's on the runway, you know, like, you know, like the Gucci bag with something on it, like, whatever. But so I love that fashion, you know, was the broker there. But and we always talk about like, so it's completely different, but still, and even with the internet, you know, like Shepard and I always, you know, like it's still more. It does more for you to go out there in the street and do it.
Yes,
You know, like,
the analog, right?
Yeah. Like it's great, you know, like to have all this social media options for distribution. But going out and putting up posters in the middle of the night, you know,
That's our realm.
Yeah. And taking the risk too. I was like, we're not asking for no stinking permission or anything. It's a minor form of civil disobedience. So there's catharsis in that, but there's also like we're actually getting it out there.
Yeah.
And the thing that, even though both my parents were union organizers, and I have a little bit of that in me, in my DNA, I never expected so many people to volunteer to help. You know, like, and we would in LA, we would go to Cantor's Deli late at night, and I had my own section, you know, Robbie's Hole, and we'd get volunteers to come in, and the buzz in the room when all these people, I mean, you know, like young people, students, college students, high school students, lawyers, doctors, actors, you know, like industry, like all kinds of people would come and do this. And the buzz in the room was just of like, okay, we're going to, you know, like make a little mischief for something we believe in. That just knocked me out.
Yeah.
Those people, I just loved them so much. And I used to have like a demographic idea, like I would like, okay, you go here, you go there, and we'll, you know, get to where people are going to work. And then I realized, what the fuck am I doing? Like these people are, you know, volunteering, and they could get arrested for this, you know, and let them do what the fuck they want to do, you know, like let them go put it up where the hell they want, however they want, you know, like, and we would have, and that kind of worked.
Yeah.
You know, like
Just no federal buildings. I got you.
yeah, certain like not Parker Center, not the police.
I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, oh, this is great. You know, because okay, so you get like, I taught at USC for a long time.
Okay.
And then my students, basically, I was teaching whatever subject it was. You know, like drawing, life drawing. It was always Robbie 101. You know, I couldn't help myself. Like,
Of course.
yeah, you got 3 hours. Sooner or later, I'm going to go off. You know, like
yeah.
and
Just listen and keep drawing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, keep
just
drawing.
listen. Just listen to me. I'm going to go on a rant.
Yeah, I don't even ask them to listen. It just happened.
Okay.
You know, like,
Okay, I got you.
So, yeah, I mean, there we were, you know, naked person and 20 kids and me talking politics. What could be better?
That's amazing.
What could be more fun? So, but, you know, so at Cantor's, you know, I would tell them what the poster was about and stuff, and people really knew that already. Yeah. And also I would say, you know, like, okay, guerrilla etiquette, you know, there's certain things that, you know, if you run up against people in dark blue suits with shiny accessories, be polite.
Absolutely.
You know, like, you don't, you know, you just, depending on how their time at the donut shop went, you know, like they might be in a good mood or not.
Right.
But you don't want to antagonize them. The thing is to get the posters up and express ourselves, not to get sidetracked by being thrown in jail. You know,
it's hard to do putting up a piece of paper on a wall, you know, that's like meant to be posted, right? That's why you guys see, when you see these walls and it says post no bills.
Yeah, just put it over.
That's for Robbie. That's for Robbie saying, Robbie, don't put your signs up here. Don't put your posters up here. Post no bills. And that's that's that. But
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you
that's
still
what
do it.
that's one of the things I would tell them. If you see that sign, just put a poster over it so it doesn't say post no bills, no bills. But
Yeah.
but
Gotcha.
also,
Yeah.
No federal buildings, like you
Yeah,
said.
of course.
No merchants' windows if don't put them up on Cantor's windows.
Yeah.
And not the police station. But the other thing, so everything I would tell these kids like 10 things not to do.
Yes.
And so,
Gotcha.
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one of the things they love to do is like get together after postering and go to a late night spot to tell war stories.
Love
right?
it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we get in and I say, okay, how'd it go? I say, great, Rob. It was really great. We did everything you told us not to do. It was fantastic. Okay. But the thrill for me was really that so many people would do it. And also, like Shepard his real genius is distribution. Like I always say, he's like Sherwin-Williams paints. He covers the earth,
Yeah.
It's fantastic,
Yeah.
And
Well, if you guys don't know who he's talking about, that would be Shepard Fairey
Yep.
that he's talking about. And Shepard Fairey was renowned he was the first street artist to commodify the work too, as well.
that too, yeah. So he's like, and all these kids are like much more entrepreneurial than I am. First of all, I had too much LSD. That's not first of all. First of all, my parents were...
You're still doing okay, though. I mean, for all the LSD you took, I mean, you're not doing too bad.
I don't know that anybody thinks LSD hurts you.
Oh, I don't.
I think it expands your
mind.
consciousness,
Absolutely.
so you can get to this. Yeah. I decided when Reagan came into office and I got out of graduate school that I loved abstract expressionism, but I needed to make art that was more directly about social and political issues that I cared about. And so I tried. I was terrible.
Yes.
It was really hard to make that transition. Then, when I finally thought I had it, I had these big paintings that were 3 parts. One was these people being exploded, and they're like, One was these women showing pictures of their sons who had disappeared by an evil government. And one section was these politicians who I thought were responsible for it. Reagan and Caspar Weinberger, whoever. Leon Golub, a great American political artist, told me, if you really want to be effective with these things, get rid of 3/4 of
75%.
the other stuff and just do the bad guys.
When the great social political artist gave you that advice, I mean, some people would just crumble and do something else, but you did that. What did that do for you, and what did that tell you? Like, you were on this, and how did you process that?
Well, I crumbled.
Yeah.
I melted down. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, first of all, this guy was the greatest.
Yes.
And his wife was the greatest.
Yeah.
And they were so good to me, they appreciated what I was trying to do. And I knew their work cold, I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And I had tremendous respect for them. And it took me a while, but I knew he was right. And I wasn't thrilled about it.
Yeah, I mean.
But I had so much respect for him and what he had done, and for her and what she had done and were doing. I said, you better listen to these people, don't be a fucking idiot.
Right.
And I was a teacher, and I think I was maybe a little more, and I had been doing terrible art, It's not that the thing that I had finally done that he critiqued was pretty good.
Yes.
You know, it just was all over the place. And what he did was concentrate, you know. And so I started throwing out everything you don't need, you know, which is almost all your art. So I finally, you know, it took me a few days, you know, and they were, you know, like Nancy said, they're from Chicago.
Yeah.
And these old, Robbie, Leon has something to tell you. You know, listen to Leon. He knows what he's talking about. And I got like, okay. And then Leon, so what is it? Okay. Here's what you do. If you really want to get to these guys, yeah, throw out all this other stuff and put everything into them. No. It made sense, you know, unfortunately. And that's how Men with No Lips came to be.
That was the birth.
Actually, that's not true.
Okay.
Well, it is true. I had done Men with the paintings
Yes.
before Leon told me that. But I had never put them together as a poster or anything. Is that true? I don't think that's true. I think I'm wrong. I think he made me make those individual paintings. Yeah, yeah. I had made paintings of politicians that were separate from the other stuff. Like a really good painting of Reagan and Kissinger shaking hands. So and also a painting of Weinberger, William Casey, and George Shultz, who were all Reaganites, CIA, and those, they were parts of this bigger thing. And they were what he was talking about, but they weren't standalone images, you know. So I think it's like, yeah, the first things I did after, this is more like, the first thing I did after that advice was those little black and white portraits of Reagan and his cabinet.
Gotcha.
And then I did Nancy and Margaret Thatcher, Jean Kirkpatrick, and Joan Rivers. And they're actually in the hall, in the house.
In the hallway, yeah.
Yeah, that was Women with Teeth. And it was a, you know, like, I'm a feminist, you know, like women express their power a little differently from men, and thank God. But Nancy, you know, who was the power behind the throne for sure, especially in the second term, you know, the way she would go around and say, "Hi, how are you? Very nice to see you." Fuck 'em. You know, like, and so big teeth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And also they bite, you know. Like,
Yeah.
so I did those, but I didn't make them into posters. That was the next step. And actually, my friend Erica Rothenberg, who's one of the Guerrilla Girls, who when she came to LA, I actually got her first studio. They started in 1985. I started in 1986. And they were putting up these little I don't know, 14 by 11 or something, all text, mostly all text things on the streets about sexism in the art world.
Okay.
That was their thing. And I saw them and I knew them, you know, I'd be in New York and stuff, and I got to know her, and they were anonymous, you know, they wore their gorilla masks.
Yep.
But she was Kathy Kollwitz. They gave themselves famous female artist names. But so I was talking with her and kind of whining about, like, I don't know, these portraits are just these portraits of the guys. Nobody's going to understand that they're actually critique, and only progressive lawyers like them or understand them or whatnot. She says to me, why don't you put the text on? Just be out there. Like Leon told you, just do these guys. How about just do these guys with these words?
Right.
Yeah. And so, okay. And that's how Men with No Lips started. Yeah, she was right. And she's a great, funny, terrific satirical artist, as they all were.
So your first posters with words on them was, of course, the No Lips. But then let's talk about the Iron. Of course, it's ironic. Ooh, that we are
Inspiration.
back in this Iran kind of controversy.
It must be the oil paint.
It's the oil paint.
I sense a collab.
Oh man, it feels.
Getting to
Is
it.
that why I'm buzzing over here? I'm like, those solvents.
Whatever it is, it's working for you.
Yeah, it's the. I'm
The
used.
LSD.
Oh yeah, I'm touching them, just touching
Yeah.
them. It's rubbing off on me like licking a toad.
Yeah, something like that. See, we're getting to it.
This is juicy.
Okay, so
Yeah, Iran-Contra, yeah.
Yeah.
So, my fourth poster was Contradiction, which was Ronald Reagan, about Iran-Contra, him contradicting himself about it, him being a contradiction being one of my favorite, neo-Marxist words. It was really, and also I got to use color, yellow, so when anyway, I won't go into that about my relationship with printers, but so we put those up all over the place. That's 1988. And so I was getting a little bit known. So Iran-Contra was bubbling up even more.
Yeah.
And this nonprofit God Squad Lawyers Group from New York, the Christic Institute, was trying to get publicity for anti-Iran-Contra information out. And they came to LA for a fundraiser, but also to recruit people in the media and celebrities like musicians and movie stars and stuff to spread the word, because the mainstream media was not touching it.
Right.
They didn't want to have anything to do with it. They don't want to. It's just like the mainstream media not wanting to contradict
What's
Trump
happening
now.
Yes.
Yeah, that was true with Reagan as well.
Right.
And so they couldn't break through. So they had a meeting at a screening room in Venice where they would present what they wanted. And like Jackson Browne was there, Bonnie Raitt was there, the Eagles, some of the Eagles were there, some movie stars were there. And also graphic designers. Debbie was recruited, she's a great graphic designer. And this one vice president at a talent agency somehow had found out, probably through my my photographer, who knew everybody, that I was the person who did these posters. Actually, I don't remember when the first LA Times story came out about me, but I think it was 87.
87?
Yeah, so this was December 13th, 1987. We had this meeting, so maybe it was already kind of out. But she recruited me to come to this thing, maybe to do a poster about it. And so me and my girlfriend at the time, we were a little late. We went to this screening room, and it was already started, and it was full. And the usher guy with a flashlight came and sat us down at the only seats that were available, right next to Debbie. And he flashed on Debbie, and I go, oh no, oh my God. She's so beautiful, like, this is not going to be good. But anyway, they recruited us to do a poster, and there's a funny story about Debbie and her boyfriend chasing me in the parking lot because they had done a poster and they wanted my advice, and it was like the coldest night in Venice of the year, and my girlfriend saying, "I don't want to be here. My tits are, like hard as rocks. Like, let's get out of here." And Debbie and her beautiful boyfriend with the beautiful blonde hair come chasing after us. We have a poster. We have a poster. Would you look at this and what do you think of it? And it was like, and I'm going, oh, it's okay. Like, let's talk later when we go to like the meeting to make a poster and to make stuff. And so, sure enough, the meeting was at this beautiful house in Brentwood. But I'd never even been in Brentwood. It was too high tone for me. I have a class twitch anyway. Like, so if I get anywhere near like rich people's places, I start, sweating LSD or something. Just to calm you down. So,
excuse me. Okay.
Yeah. See, we're getting to them. So, we ended up like at this meeting, and it was like really nice and everything, and Contra Cocaine came out of this poster, and the poster was a skull in a business suit with camouflage behind it. Mm-hmm. It says Contra Cocaine, because one of the things we had done is created with Iran weapons for cocaine.
Right.
And it was being spread all around LA by gang guys. Mm-hmm. And
well, the original Rick Ross,
yeah,
who was, yes, and
that's right.
And then that was the big crack cocaine epidemic.
Right.
And
so thank you very much.
That was crack cocaine. They basically taught them how to make crack cocaine, cook it, and then it was in every single neighborhood, and I think violence was
not every single neighborhood.
No. Yes.
Just working class neighborhoods.
Yes, because cocaine is the rich man's drug.
Right.
And
right.
crack
Made it available.
Scalable for everybody to consume.
Yeah. So we did the poster, and that's I met Debbie and.
Michael, say who's Debbie?
Yeah, who's Debbie? You're always talking about Debbie.
Yeah, Debbie. I talk about her. I have to talk about her. She's a very talented graphic designer and movie title designer, who is now my wife. And we met at this event, and worked together on street posters from then on. Yeah,
well, it sounds like when he flashed that light on her and you said that, I think you fell in love first.
It was something that was not good. I knew I was in big trouble.
Yeah,
put it that way.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I had to get that.
And I'm still in big trouble, and I'm very happy about it.
Thank you, Deb.
It's only 36 years later.
Appreciate you, Deb.
Yeah. And you should talk to her because she's beautiful and she's very talented and has 10,000 fonts inside her body somewhere. So there's that.
Thanks,
yeah. So the other thing is Jackson Browne did a tour, a music tour about the issue, and they used the Contra Cocaine poster image as the tour T-shirt. And so it was a real collab, I don't know how much good it did, but it was one of my most very popular posters, and there's two reasons for that. One, it didn't have a bad guy on it. It had a skull.
Right.
Ooh, skulls are the new happy face.
Well,
at least they were then.
Well, you had Misfits in the 80s, remember that?
Yeah, sure.
You had this...
Oh, yeah.
It resonated with the counterculture, right?
There's another reason it resonated with the counterculture, because at 2 a.m, I'd be out on the Venice boardwalk, and skaters were still out there, and they'd go, ooh, can we have one of those? Can we have one of those? I said, yeah, sure. What are you going to do with it? Oh, we're going to cut off the contra and keep the cocaine. Like, oh, okay. Very popular.
Yeah,
You got skulls, you got camo, and you got cocaine. Hey, baby, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. So anyway, that's contra cocaine, and coming right after contradiction.
Yes.
And still, I think there's something about it because it was more generic in the sense that it had a skull and not a specific politician. It has more general appeal.
Yes. Agreed.
And also the other thing, I mean, there's this thing about my art. Okay, it's a double-edged sword. People, a lot of people who see it, who actually like it, this is great. We love it. And this is true with galleries and museums as well. We really like it, but we don't want it in the house. I understand that, okay, great, Rob, not in the living room, not in my living room, maybe on the refrigerator as a diet aid, so you look at it and you get nauseous and you don't eat and you lose weight. But now we have Ozempic, so never mind, and that was true for a long time with museums and galleries too. Love your and the municipalities, like cities, love your art in museums or in galleries, not on our streets.
Mm-hmm.
And then the museums and galleries said, love your art on the streets, not in our museum. Okay, well, at least you love my art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure you do. Okay, so and that has broken down. Not with my friends, not with people. They still don't want it in their living room. Anybody who has my art, the poster art anyway, has it in the bathroom, over the toilet. That's where it is in all my friends' houses. So, okay, I understand that. But as, Debbie says, Debbie Ross, the great graphic designer, movie title designer who's in the house, laughing. She's probably out in her new backyard, actually. Said, you're always so negative, everything, all this negative stuff. Right. Can't you do anything positive? Or, like what? Inspirational women. How about that? Oh, there's an idea I never thought of, like an idiot. Not that I would admit that. And so I did a series of inspirational women, which is a completely different kind of painting.
Right.
Okay, so one of my things about making art is whatever the art asks you for, you should be able to do. So if it needs to be a sculpture, you should be able to make a sculpture. If it needs to be an oil painting, you should be able to make an oil painting. If it needs to be a silk screen, you should be able to do that. Right. Or, you get a 200-pound block of limestone and make a old-fashioned lithograph with, a wax crayon painting, drawing backwards, where you're not allowed, you can't make any mistakes. You should be able to do that. So if you're going to do something positive, you can't paint like this. You have to have enough technique to be able to adjust and make something lovely.
Hey, y'all, thanks for watching Mondays with Michael. We got part 2 coming up. Like and subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.